Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into this explainer to unpack something that frankly caught my eye immediately as a senior advisor. We're looking at ElevenLabs' new Dubbing V2. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't this just consumer tech for content creators? Well, actually, scratch that. As you're going to see today, this is a massive operational lever for those of us managing cross-border portfolios. Let's get right into how this can completely reshape our global finance operations.
So, let's start with the universal headache I know we all share daily. If you're managing international wealth, overseeing multinational teams, or simply trying to reconcile those chaotic cross-border expense reports, you know the exact friction I'm talking about. We are constantly trying to figure out how to unify these operations without slamming into a massive, expensive language bottleneck. Historically, bridging this gap meant hiring armies of translators, dealing with painfully slow reporting, and constantly sweating over compliance errors just from simple mistranslations. It's essentially an invisible tax on global finance, isn't it?
Well, this brings us to Dubbing V2. Instead of getting bogged down in the complex AI under the hood, let's just look at what it actually does for us. Simply put, it's an automated engine built to literally bridge those global communication gaps in real time. For our firms, this means taking all that raw, unstructured, multi-language data and effortlessly standardizing it into your team's primary operating language. It just strips the friction of translation right out of the equation.
And here is where it gets really interesting, because this perfectly illustrates the engine's dynamic range. Over here on the left, sure, it has obvious entertainment applications. It can dub a whimsical story about a shiny French balloon or some dramatic Portuguese survival show on a deserted island. But the pivot, the real game changer for us on the right, is how it seamlessly transitions into hard-hitting corporate finance and global expense automation. It proves this underlying tech isn't just a toy, it actually possesses the robust vocabulary we need for enterprise-level heavy lifting.
Now, speaking of heavy lifting, let's talk about the jargon. Because as any senior advisor knows, financial jargon is notoriously unforgiving. A tiny error in a compliance doc or a cross-border purchase order can literally cost a firm millions. But what we're seeing in the source material is this system stepping right into that heavily regulated, incredibly specific vernacular of global finance without missing a beat. It's not just doing a simple word swap, it is actually preserving the precise institutional context. Need proof? Just look at this breakdown of a Polish source text. It totally gets our highly specific ecosystem. I mean, sure, it identifies standard things like food and entertainment, but look at the structural terms here. It absolutely nails paragoni for receipts, raporty wydatków for expense reports, faktury for invoices, right down to complex purchase orders. So if your back office team is sitting in Warsaw or you've got clients sending docs from Eastern Europe, you can wave goodbye to manual verification. It catches the nuance instantly.
But this right here, this translated German quote from the source presentation is absolutely the crux of the whole thing. Wir kümmern uns Aspekte des Finanzwesens, die Sie hassen. Or, in English, we take care of aspects of finance that you hate. I mean, talk about a value proposition. It hits the nail on the head for our industry. We are high-level financial professionals, yet we get entirely bogged down by administrative multilingual friction. This tech literally promises to take those dreaded repetitive tasks off our plates for good.
And outsourcing those hated tasks, that builds an immediate massive operational advantage. Just look at this list of pain points: the manual expense submissions, the endless sorting of foreign food and entertainment receipts, deciphering international invoices, and routing global purchase orders. The source even highlights this amazing scenario where German expenses essentially submit themselves. The documents translate, categorize, and process across language barriers automatically. That means our analysts and advisors can stop acting like multilingual data entry clerks and actually get back to doing what we do best: high-level advisory and portfolio strategy. So how do we put this border-free operational framework into action? Well, the source material lays out exactly what's available for firms right now. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky theoretical tech slated for a future release. It's a distinct operational advantage that institutions can deploy today to scale their international footprint without having to linearly scale up their headcount.
As you can see, they've broken this down into two very specific deployment packages, 11 Creative and 11 Production. Basically, these are tiered environments for totally different operational needs. You might lean on the Creative Suite when you're generating polished, multilingual market updates for your clients. Then you'd unleash the Production tier for the heavy lifting, massive back-end processing of international expense reports at scale. It gives our operations teams the flexibility to scale global communications effortlessly.
completely aligned with the exact volume and security demands of the firm.
Wow, what a journey, right? We've seen how this engine can pivot from entertaining stories straight into effortlessly handling complex Polish purchase orders and automating those German expenses we all absolutely despise. So I'm going to leave you with this final crucial thought to chew on for your own wealth management teams. As the friction of language totally disappears from global finance, how quickly is your firm going to adapt to this new era of borderless operations? Are you going to embrace the automation, or are you going to be stuck manually translating the future? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep innovating, and I'll catch you next time.